The Salvadorian parliament approved a pretty controversial reform proposed by President Nayib Bukele, which basically persecutes the dissemination and any type of message that creates what the government calls panic in the Salvadorian population. Specifically, the reform threatens with 15 years in prison those who essentially decide to disseminate messages from gang members in the Salvadorian press, Salvadorian TV networks, radio stations, and newspapers. So this decision comes in a moment where, as we reported in a previous episode, the government of Nayib Bukele maintains the state of emergency in the president's war against gangs in the Central American nation. What's even more controversial on this whole issue is essentially the fact that the president, Nayib Bukele, justified his decision by citing the war against the Nazis in World War II. I mean, this is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane because we're talking about something extremely delicate in the history of Western civilization, and the president of El Salvador is trying to compare his operation against these gangs to this situation. So on his Twitter account, President Bukele literally said, and I'm quoting him, "When Germans wanted to eradicate Nazism, they prohibit by law all Nazi symbolism, apology, and even messages. Now we're doing that with gangs." This is absolutely insane. I'm sorry, but this is absolutely insane. So on this particular issue, El Salvador's Journalists Association, also known by the name of APES, sent a pretty strong statement, published a pretty strong statement where it said that they feel quite worried by this reform, given the fact that, according to their view, this reform represents a clear attempt of censoring mass media in the Central American nation. After all, over the last few years, some of the most important and some of the most game changer journalist works in El Salvador has been those that include messages from members of the different criminal organizations and gangs in the country. So the fact that President Nayib Bukele is prohibiting this, it definitely breaks freedom of speech in El Salvador. I mean, that is an undeniable fact. So President Bukele's decision comes in a moment where the relations with the United States remains quite tense, and following a declaration by the White House which essentially rejected the state of emergency. So this situation is quite delicate for the Salvadoran government, not only because of the internal implications, how this situation could create a pretty significant gang crisis, worse than the one that we are watching today. In fact, this situation could also have a lot of negative implications in El Salvador's foreign relations. After all, El Salvador has been one of the main allies of Washington in Central America, and with President Nayib Bukele, this could actually change. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.